Hey, what's up, Facebook Live? It's Scott Engler. Just coming to you. This was an unplanned Facebook Live video, but I'm just feeling really inspired right now to share this. I just got off a call with one of my accountability partners, Joey Jenkins, giving you a little shout out. I always love our talks so much because we're so aligned with where we're headed, and he encouraged me to watch this video by Gary Vaynerchuk talking about there's no such thing as an overnight success. And in the video, I mean, he's showing how, he's basing it off how he gets emails, 5 to 20 emails every single day about people wanting to give up and, it's not happening, maybe I'm not meant to do this. And in the little, as Gary Vaynerchuk is talking, in the little box, he shows almost 900 videos that he did for his wine library that, has obviously created for him a lot of success, and now he's very, very well known and prominent at what he does. But his point was nothing happens overnight. And that's been my experience too. Like I was saying, if I would have known the amount of work, hard work, dedication, consistency that it would have taken for me to start a business, to write a book, to do anything, start a workshop, online course, if I would have really known how much work, I may have never done it. So I'm glad that I didn't sit around and think about that too long. But the point is that I think it's so easy, especially with social media now. We see someone like Gary Vaynerchuk speaking, or someone that's been successful and they're talking to you live from their house in the Caribbean or some vacation, and be like, oh, they just got lucky. Bullshit. They did not get lucky. And that's why, I always bring it back to Shark Tank. When you watch that show and you see Mark Cuban and, you'll see the people that are pitching their idea, and when they start drilling them about like how much time and money have you put into your business, and you'll see people that are just like totally expecting that like they just made this business and that all of a sudden it should just make millions and millions of dollars. And before I'm not harping on people, because trust me, I've had to work through a lot of patience is not one of my best attributes. So I've had to work through a lot of my own issues with timing of things, or time frame, or things, like 4 months for me could feel like 4 years. So I totally understand that feeling of, wanting it just to happen, because, here you are going all in and you're putting your money and time and energy, and having it not work out right away is like, well, how am I going to support myself? And having all those fears of taking care of yourself. And, it's all part of the dance that we do in owning our own business. And just a few things I wanted to share, because I was talking about it with Joey earlier, was I have this opportunity right now, and I'm not saying that it may or may not come to pass, but right now it's looking very much so, because me and this person have spoken about doing workshops, 2-day workshops, presenting in different states and different areas on LinkedIn. And rewind earlier this year, between the months of March and I would say mid-May, I almost spent 5 days a week, every single freaking week, putting together content, posts, descriptions, webinars for a 1-day LinkedIn workshop and then a 2-day LinkedIn workshop. And I just felt inspired. I took this trip, and and when I got back, I knew I needed to create this online course for LinkedIn, or this 2-day workshop, I'm sorry. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on it. And guess what? I had to actually pull the plug on it because people weren't showing up. It was this 2-day event in my local town. And, it would have been really easy for me to, at that point, to feel completely discouraged, or why me? Why didn't it work out like I thought it was? Why did I feel inspired to do this thing? And, but I didn't. As a matter of fact, I was like, well, at least now I know how to do a 2-day workshop. Now I know exactly what the process is. Of course, a lot of that had to do with, staying accountable with my coach and, making sure that we were still on, like talking about these things, because he's had plenty of things that could be considered a failure. So the reason I'm sharing this story is because what I did, instead of sulking and getting pissed off, like I did that, I allowed myself to be frustrated for a day or whatever, however long, and then I'm like, you know what, on to the next thing. I don't know why it didn't work out. I learned a lot of valuable lessons about the process of certain things, and I learned a ton of new things, how to use different platforms that I never did. So it's like, well, what good could I take from this? So fast forward another 3 to 4 months, and I'm on the phone with this lady who happens to be international best-selling author of the LinkedIn Code. And as I'm talking to her, like, the only reason I reached out to her was because my coach actually suggested I looked at her marketing on how she was pitching her LinkedIn stuff. That was how I reached out to her. I'm like, this is so great, Melanie, how did you do this? And she's like, let's hop on the phone. I'm like, okay. So when we hop on the phone, I was really clear, like, look, I don't know if I could really bring any value here to where you're so much further along than I am. And, but here's what I was thinking for this 4-week, LinkedIn thing, Top Gun, and here's what I've done so far. And I started telling her about this 2-day workshop. And she's like, whoa, wait. So tell me more about this 2-day workshop. And I was like, okay, well, here's what I was thinking. I created it because I wanted to have like a hands-on approach. I thought it'd be great to have people come the day afterward to follow up with them. And she's like, that's awesome. You know why, Scott? I'm like, no. She's like, because I've been wanting to do 2-day LinkedIn workshops for a long time. But my problem is that I don't have the energy to do 2 full days. But if me and you partner on this, then not only could we do 2-day workshops, we could combine forces and our talents, but we could also have people come from out of state. Because she's like, I've had to travel to London, to New York City, and all over the place. She's like, she lives in Canada. She's like, I'd much rather just stay in our region and have people come from out of state. What I've learned is people won't come from out of state to go to a 1-day event, but they will for a 2-day event. So, and now we're putting together our presentation. We're, we picked our first location, which is Seattle. We put together the course description for each day. And, again, things change, but as of right now, we're definitely moving forward with it. We have a date where we want to have our first 2-day workshop. And my point is, if I hadn't spent all those months putting together that 2-day workshop on my own, I would not have been prepared to move forward with this lady. And had I not, and I think the other thing that I had to, I think so many people don't realize this part, I had to remember that I do know a lot about LinkedIn, and I have gotten, clients great results on their LinkedIn profile, and the information I have is really, really helpful. Because it was so easy, like, look, like, I would have webinars and like maybe one person would come on. I would be sending out emails to hundreds and hundreds of people and talk to so many people about it, and then they wouldn't sign up and they wouldn't show up and they wouldn't respond. Like, believe me, like, it's so easy to feel rejected, and like, you're like, maybe I'm just really not good at this. Like, you forget, you're not getting responses at all. People are just like, oh, that's too much money. And you're like, this is how much money I made this year on it. This is how much money I helped this person make. I don't understand. So, you're getting all this external feedback that's not aligned with what you believe to be true and you've seen to be true. And so, I think that's the biggest component, is like time after time continuing to work on it because it's great. And I think, if I had to give any advice to people that are starting off, or, that maybe I'm a little further along, then it's that, patience. And so I hate that word because it's hard to have, but like, just because I love what Tony Robbins and Jarek says it too, is like, God's delays are not God's denials. So it's like, we stay consistent. We do the work, even just for the work's sake, like Stephen Pressfield says. We do the work because we love it, and we do it for the work's sake. I'm doing this video right now. I don't have any idea if it's gonna have any type of help, you know, like who's gonna listen to it, if it's gonna make me any profit for my business whatsoever, but I'm sharing what I'm learning because I love what I do and I love helping people. You know, one of the best things that I love doing with my work is I love seeing other people get it. I love seeing them move forward. I love seeing them succeed. You know, I talked to a client of mine the other day. He has an offer. This guy, you know, is wanting to do it full time. We helped him double what he's already earning, doing what he loves. He had an offer for 25 grand to do a painting. And I'm on the phone with my client. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Crazy. When we started together, he was charging like $30 an hour for what he's doing. I'm like, first of all, dude, you're totally underselling yourself. Your work is fantastic. You know, here's how long he's been doing it. Here's the quality he's doing. And so, Emily, thank you so much for your comments. If anyone has any questions or anything,